Imagine a leader whose shadow stretches across millennia, a figure so imposing that his deeds shaped not only the destiny of his people but the very course of history. This is Ramses II, more commonly known as Ramses the Great, a pharaoh of ancient Egypt renowned for his power and reverence. Ruling for an astounding 66 years, Ramses was not just a ruler, he was a feared warrior, an unmatched strategist, a monumental builder, and above all, a living symbol of divine power on earth. But who was this man who transformed Egypt into a global powerhouse? To understand Ramses' legacy, we need to look beyond the colossal temples he erected and the immense statues depicting his majesty. Ramses was a ruler who deeply understood the power of image and narrative. He wielded both the sword and the mason's hammer to ensure that his name would be remembered forever. Ramses II lived in an era of challenges and opportunities. Egypt, rich in culture and power, faced external threats and internal instability. However, under his leadership, the kingdom thrived, with the pharaoh cementing his rule not only through battlefield victories but also through skilled diplomacy. Ramses II was born to be a pharaoh. From an early age, he was destined to wear the crown of one of the most powerful and ancient realms in human history. His ascent to the throne was no accident. He came from a strong and established royal lineage. At the age of 14, Ramses was appointed co-regent by his father, Seti I. This strategic move ensured a smooth transition when Seti passed away. During this period, Ramses accompanied his father on military campaigns, learning the art of war and administration. When Seti I died, Ramses ascended to the throne of a prosperous Egypt. However, external threats, particularly from the Hittites and other northeastern neighbors, demanded a firm and visionary leader. Internally, the country was still recovering from tumultuous dynastic changes. During Ramses' rise, Egypt was a deeply hierarchical society where the pharaoh was not just a king but also seen as a living god. He was responsible for maintaining cosmic order, known as Ma'at, the justice and balance of the universe. In one of the most dramatic episodes of ancient military history, Ramses II faced one of the greatest challenges of his reign, the Battle of Kadesh. Fought in 1274 BC, this battle was a colossal military confrontation that shaped the fate of Egypt and Anatolia. Although the Battle of Kadesh did not result in a decisive victory for either side, it was pivotal for the politics of the time. In 1259 BC, Ramses and the Hittite king Mortali II agreed to negotiate a treaty, one of the earliest formally documented peace agreements in history. Ramses II's greatness is equally built upon a legacy of architecture and engineering. Among Egypt's most iconic wonders, the Temple of Abu Simbel stands as one of Ramses' greatest legacies, reflecting his magnificence and devotion to the gods. Located on the banks of a Nile near the border with Sudan, Abu Simbel is an impressive example of engineering and a powerful symbol of Ramses' grandeur. The complex consists of two temples carved directly into the rock, designed to reflect the magnificence of the pharaoh. The smaller temple at Abu Simbel, dedicated to Ramses' wife Nefertari and the goddesses Hathor and Isis, is equally impressive. The construction was strategically positioned so that twice a year, the rays of the sun would illuminate the statues of the gods inside the temple. Ramses II's architectural projects were not merely expressions of wealth and power, but also propaganda tools designed to perpetuate his image as a divine pharaoh. His monuments and inscriptions served to glorify his life and achievements, ensuring his influence would endure for millennia. Ramses II's relationship with his wife Nefertari is often described as a story of mutual love and admiration. He dedicated one of his most grandiose architectural projects, the smaller temple at Abu Simbel, to her, highlighting her importance and position in the Egyptian pantheon. Ramses II had several other wives and concubines throughout his reign. These relationships were not merely personal but also political, ensuring the continuity of the royal lineage. His son Monumental eventually succeeded him as pharaoh. Ramses II is remembered not only for his military and architectural achievements but also for his exceptional skill in managing a vast empire. Effective administration began with strategic decentralization, delegating authority to provincial governors and local administrators. Diplomacy with the Hittites was not just about securing peace, but also about establishing a strategic alliance. The treaty signed between the two empires included clauses for economic and military cooperation, strengthening bilateral relations and securing a period of stability. During Ramses' reign, there was a notable revival of religiosity in Egypt. The pharaoh promoted large-scale rituals and ceremonies, often personally participating in religious practices. He also ordered the construction of impressive monuments dedicated to important deities. Ramses II's decision to build a new capital, Pyramus, was strategic, aiming to centralize power and facilitate control over a vast and diverse territory. The city was designed to be a monumental center of worship and adoration, reflecting the power and grandeur of the pharaoh. In the final years of his reign, Ramses II faced a series of challenges. As he aged, issues related to his health and well-being became increasingly pressing. Conscious of the inevitability of his death, Ramses took careful measures to prepare for his succession and secure the continuity of his reign. The construction of Ramses II's tomb in the Valley of the Kings was a monumental project, reflecting the importance of ensuring an eternal rest worthy of a pharaoh. The tomb, with its impressive decorations and inscriptions, was designed to ensure that Ramses would be celebrated and remembered in the afterlife. Despite the challenges and limitations imposed by age, Ramses II maintained firm control over the empire until his final days. His reign is one of the most grandiose and significant of ancient Egypt, reflecting the importance and power of the pharaoh. His legacy endures as a symbol of how power can be expressed and perpetuated through tangible achievements and the construction of a lasting image.
Some saw her as a power-hungry woman. Others as a legend who defied all convention to become the most powerful figure in a world where only men were supposed to rule. She not only claimed the throne, she took the title of pharaoh, a title never before held by a woman. Welcome to the enigmatic story of Hatshepsut, the queen who became king. Born in 1507 BC, during the New Kingdom of Egypt, Hatshepsut was no ordinary princess. The daughter of Thutmose I and his queen Ephemusa, she was raised in the luxury of the royal palace, but burdened with responsibilities far beyond her years. As the only daughter, Hatshepsut was destined to be queen, a role traditionally reserved for royal women to ensure the continuation of the divine line. But fate had a different plan for her. When her father died in 1492 BC, the throne passed to her half-brother, Thutmose II, and as tradition demanded, Hatshepsut became his queen. But it was clear to many that she was the real power behind the throne. Thutmose II's reign lasted only 13 years, and his premature death left Egypt in a precarious position. His young son, Thutmose III, was too young to rule, so Hatshepsut stepped in as regent. For 5 years, she ruled as queen regent. But in the 6th year, something changed. Hatshepsut took a bold step that would forever change the course of Egyptian history. She declared herself pharaoh. This was no small feat. Egypt was a deeply religious society where the concept of divine rule was sacred. Only those deemed godlike could wear the crown, and Hatshepsut had to prove that she had the divine right to rule. Hatshepsut exploited her title as God's wife of Amun, a powerful religious position traditionally held by royal women. Through this title, she forged alliances with the powerful priests of Amun, especially with Hattusneb, the high priest of Karnak. This alliance was crucial to establishing her legitimacy. The clergy had almost as much power as the pharaoh himself, and with their support, Hatshepsut's claim to the throne grew stronger. But religious support was not enough. Hatshepsut needed political and military support. She carefully secured alliances with key figures, including Ahumusa Amathu, a vizier who had served her father, and Gen, the influential mayor of Thebes. She even recruited Ahumusa Benkbet, a veteran military officer, to her ranks. With these powerful men at her side, Hatshepsut's path to the throne became clear. In 1479 BCE, Hatshepsut took the unprecedented step of assuming full power and the title of pharaoh. To consolidate her rule, she began to reshape her image and story. She claimed that her father, Thutmose I, had always intended for her to be pharaoh. She even invoked the god Amun, declaring him her true father, thus giving her the divine right to rule. Hatshepsut did not just adopt the title of pharaoh, rather, she embodied it. She often portrayed herself as a male ruler, wearing traditional pharaonic garb, even a false beard, and the double crown of Upper and Lower Egypt. But her rule was more than just a facade. Hatshepsut proved to be a capable and effective leader. Her reign was marked by peace, prosperity, and monumental achievements. She focused on expanding Egypt's trade networks, including the famous expedition to the land of Punt, which brought in vast wealth. These efforts funded her own ambitious construction projects, including the construction of magnificent temples and monuments. Most famously her mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahari, a marvel of ancient architecture. But as Hatshepsut built her legacy, she did not forget the young boy she had once served as regent for, Thutmose III. Although she managed to sideline him during her reign, she ensured that he received a proper education and allowed him to lead military campaigns, preparing him for the day he would assume the throne. When Hatshepsut died in 1458 BCE, Thutmose III ascended to full power. However, his actions in the years that followed suggest a complex relationship with his stepmother. He attempted to erase her from history, erasing her name and image from monuments. Some historians believe this was an act of resentment, while others claim it was a political move to prevent future female rulers from claiming the throne. Despite these attempts to erase her, Hatshepsut's legacy lives on. The fragments of her story that survive paint a picture of a woman who dared to defy tradition and shape the destiny of a nation. She was a queen who became a king, and a ruler who left an indelible mark on the sands of time.